roll it.
Roll it.
Yep.
Yep. Great. Start. Action.
Good morning, Sally. Welcome to the Adelaide Superdrome.
Thank you for having me.
No, pleasure. It's Velodrome obviously in the background. We normally, your office or what's in the background for you is a Tour Down Under.
Yeah, a bit different.
So as the event manager there for the Tour Down Under, it's a big role. There's a lot that's on your plate. Just give us an idea of the logistics, the magnitude of the event. How it rolls.
It's we start planning sort of 15 to 16 months out. So we'll start in end of October this year planning for January 2017, where we will start to go to councils around South Australia. We put an expression of interest out to everyone, and then start getting some ideas from there on where the race could go for the next year, who's interested in hosting us. And from there, Mike starts to put a few ideas together, and from there, we then head into the next event, and then it starts in earnest from February with really Mike designing the next year's course, and sort of that's all locked away end of Feb, early March. We know pretty much at least the start and finish towns, most of the routes in between. And from there, it's starting the documentation and getting that all ready, the contracts, and it really is 12 months of the year. We have a few people that go, so when do you start organising the next event? Is that, October before 3 months? Is that all it takes? No, it's a full-time job for about 4 of us.
About 4, yeah.
Yeah, and we work on it year round. And it's, from February when we start heavily debriefing the previous January's race, really going in to see what we can improve. And that's what we try and do each year. We strive to improve the race as much as we can each year, and the experience for the teams and the experience for the spectators that come along, participants in the Booper Challenge Tour, as much as we can do, and look and see what we can do better.
The whole package. So those 4, that's covering all bases, marketing.
Yeah, there's 4 full-time. There's myself and 2 coordinators that work on it full-time. And then there is an operations manager, sponsorship manager, and marketing managers. They work on Santos Tour Down Under, but they also work on other events that we at Event South Australia, who own the event, also manage. So they work across all those areas with us.
Busy times.
It is. Years ago we used to have some downtime, and I'm not sure what happened to it. It just goes straight through now.
Wow, it's just the event itself,
it's grown.
Well, from my early days of when I was still competing, watching the event, but now actually, working with you guys, it's every year. I say, is it going to get better? And just it does.
It grows. I think we've been very lucky in that we've been able to grow quite organically through the process. Back in 1999, when Mike first started it, it was set out to be a European road race happening in Australia, and he heavily targeted the European teams to come out and compete here, and it was a success, and it continued on. And it really wasn't until the 5th year that we started to add extra elements into the events, such as the participation rides, the members, supporters club, Legends Night dinner, those sorts of things. So we really have been able to get the race right, get those elements right, and then see how we can build the festival around
and then all the street parties as well.
And that we rely heavily on the councils who host the event with us. They're the ones that help make this festival what it is, and that's how we try and describe it now. It's not just a bike race, it's a festival. There is something happening every night, whether it's in the tour village in the heart of the city or in the regions with street parties and dinners happening. There's something happening all the time.
Well, that's what it looks like. There's every night. You've got something on the go. For you guys, the race itself from 6 a.m. to past midnight, you just go. So your days are very long. There's a lot going on.
They are long days, and it's long days for all of January, really. I mean, for most of us, New Year's Day is our last day off for January. Our operations team start building the village areas the day after Boxing Day on the 27th of December each year. And during the event, it is long days. As soon as the teams arrive, it starts, our hours really start extending out because we try and make sure the office is manned for as long as possible while they're here and getting settled. And I mean, during the event, myself, Mike, and our Hitaf, my general manager, we meet with SAPOL, SA Police, every morning at 7 a.m. during the event. So we're up and ready to go by then. And then from there, it's back to the office, do a little bit more work, head to the starts, head to the finish where I've got an office set up at each finish as well, and continue working there. Because it's not just the race. Things like our Legends Night dinner, which is about 1,500 people each year. I'm working on that during the week, doing seating plans and making sure everything's right there for the bump-ins. We'll have different functions with sponsors, with the club tour, supporters club, teams having to go places, etc. And so you get back at the end of the day and you keep working on that, and then at some point we go to bed.
Yeah, I'm going to say, do you sleep?
Not much.
Not much, yeah.
But January is my favourite month of the year. Everyone thinks I'm crazy that it's so stressful and hard, but it is my favourite. We're all running on adrenaline.
Yeah, well,
we have so much fun.
But that's what I've seen, the last nearly 6 years that I've been working with you guys.
You're a guest car driver for us, we should say. You look after our sponsors and get out amongst it on the race. So we honoured you on your retirement at the 2009 Legends Night dinner. Yeah, 2009,
which was an absolute, it was a surprise. But
as soon as you announced your retirement, we knew that we wanted to honour you and what you'd done, and it was very important to Mike as well. And I think that was a great night, and people were very interested in your story. And then we incorporated you as a guest car driver that year, and we haven't let go of you since.
I haven't looked back either. I'm certainly getting amongst the race and being a part of it is a great experience for me. But also the people I meet as well, the sponsors, all the spectators, old mates that are racing in the race. It's just a fantastic event. Yeah. I'd be silly if I didn't come back.
Good.
I'd be silly.
I'll lock you in then.
Lock me in. So, Sally, you 20 odd teams.
Yeah, usually 20 teams. It depends 20? On the amount of Pro Tour teams that are awarded their licence, which we don't know final numbers until about the 10th of December each year. So we have to take a bit of a gamble because we start booking flights and talking to teams now. We have an airline partner and we work very closely with them on the flights and the availability. But so we'll start talking to them now and then, hope that the teams we're talking to get their licences and see who comes in and who drops out in December as well. But we plan for all of that.
It's incredible. So the 20 teams, the different, the management, the managers and the riders themselves. Some characters, some egos. I'm sure there's a lot of
There are. I think we're lucky. I think we're very lucky in being the first race of the year. And they do come out, up to 2 weeks before the actual race start to, get some warm weather training in or hot weather training in some years. And they really get, they land, they're staying in the one hotel for the duration. So I think we actually get them at probably their best.
Yes.
They're relaxed when they get here. For them, it's a reunion as well. They haven't seen, some of the other teams and things since probably October the year before. So coming in and seeing everyone, so, it is, and it's fun. A lot of them that have been many times. And I think maybe we differ to some of the other races in that we're all in the Hilton together. We're all there, eating meals together. So we do get that bit of a relationship with us, so they know how far
they're not
to push things, and we know what we can push back on as well.
Yeah, exactly, and that's it. They're not on the go all the time, and that the stress levels would, I'm sure, creep in.
And we have always made it a priority to look after the teams to the best of our ability. And I think before we were a World Tour event or Pro Tour as it was back there, teams didn't have to compete here. We could take 50% of the Pro Tour teams as they were at the time. And we had to make them want to come to us. They had to know that coming here, they were getting an experience and being treated well and looked after well. And in the end, we had more than the 50% wanting to come. So we were able to pick and choose the teams that came to us, which is an ideal situation. But being a world tour and the fact it's now compulsory for them to come here, we haven't dropped off how we're treating them either. We're not taking that for granted. So we're quite lucky.
Yeah. Oh well, and for them to they want to be part of such a race, and also the weather adds to it.
Yes.
So I haven't looked into it in detail, but the talk of possibly changing.
The UCI
timing?
is going through the reform of world cycling at the moment, so we have made our case to the UCI on why we work in January, why it works for us. Being a part of school holidays is a key to the success that we have. People can come and enjoy the race. South Australians can easily come and enjoy the race, even if parents are working and the grandparents have the grandkids for the day, and they want to get out in the car by the side of the road, watch the race go past. They watch the Subaru Tour Parade go through. They get the clappers and everything that's thrown out of the cars. It's a cheap and free day out for these families. So it's essential for us that they're there and show their support. So we've made that case to the UCI, and I think within the next few weeks we'll know how the calendar's sorting out.
Yeah, surely they're not going to touch
crossed.
it. Mine are. And you talked before about the different councils that come on board. Is to start an event in a certain place, is it a big like a bidding war, or how does it work? Is there a fight for
people put in for what they want, each council, so they can nominate to host a start, a finish, or to have the entire stage held within their region. They can also nominate for having a start or finish of the Bupa Challenge Tour. So that's a different undertaking as well. And for each of those, there's different requirements that we need. A start area doesn't need anywhere near as much as room as we need at the finish areas. We're now live on television every day, so we have television compounds that have to be accommodated. The presentation areas, the parking areas for all the team vans, and all the cars that come in after the race as well. It's not just heading straight through the finish line and back into the city. They often have to come and park, regroup. If there's media, they're coming in and out. We have a media workroom at each of the finishes as well. So what we need for each, we try and keep it within a 2-hour drive of Adelaide, just to make that, because we're not a full European setup at the finishes where they've got the full team buses that they own, and all the facilities. It means they can get back to the Hilton, start the massage, start the recovery that they need within a short time.
Some are even riding back, aren't they?
A lot of them do ride back. If it's a finish such as Stirling, you'll often see the teams all just riding back afterwards. It's often quicker than in the car, and I think that's a great thing for the public who come along. I think that's what makes us different from some of the races here and in Europe, is the accessibility that we offer the public to these riders. They're not in the buses at the starts or the finishes. The start line, it's open for the public. It's barriered, but the riders are right there and they are relaxed, so they are happy to give the autographs.
Signatures, photos.
People can ride with them from the finishes back to Adelaide, and even the weeks leading up to the race, the teams are training riding every day, and you'll often see groups waiting outside the village to tack onto the back of them. I'm not sure how long they last with them, but
there's a few keen, fit spectators out there that
give it a go.
That's one thing I've noticed is a lot of people I've chatted with, that they love that part of it. That they can ride with their heroes and the stars of the tour, and at the Hilton Hotel they can sit and get a photo, have a drink with them.
And all the teams come back through the village at the end of the race as well. So their team booths are there, which are open to the public to go and wander through as part of our expo as well, it's sort of developed from years ago. It was just the tour village with the mechanics working on the bikes that it was open, and as that got more popular, we've added in sponsor exhibits, bike exhibits, more entertainment, food and wine offerings, etc. And then the teams come back to the village every day and walk through there to get to the Hilton. So for people wanting autographs, photos, it works well.
What do you call one-stop shop? Everything's there. It's all under.
It's hard enough. I don't think I could do a moving stage race. It's hard enough going back to the one location every day.
We were just talking about it earlier. Have I been to a Tour de France? No, I haven't. I reckon it'd be a hard gig, but just keeping it rolling and how it all is put together.
And it allows us to have a small team and small logistics, because we're not doing those great travel distances where we need 2 teams building at the same time. So.
yeah, obviously you've been to the Tour de France, the Giro.
I've been to Tour de France a few years ago, and I've been to Tour of California.
Yep.
And I also assisted on the Tour of Beijing for 3 years, so I've seen a few events.
So you've seen how that's all run and put together.
And it's all very similar. A lot of the time it's just on a great bigger scale than what we're doing here, but the fundamentals of it all are very similar.
Same, yeah. I suppose that's important to obviously get tips and how they
to
want
see what they do and to see what we do. And when people come to our event from the ASO or the UCI or other events, we want to know what they think of the Tour Down Under and how can we make it better as well. And other areas, what are we doing well, but where could we improve? Well,
I remember it was a couple of years ago. I had I forget the guy from the Giro, one of the organisers. Marco, yes, Marco in the car, and he was blown away. He couldn't say enough good things about it.
Nice.
And then also from the Tour of California, the race director.
Was it, I think, Chuck from there a
Chuck.
few years ago, the
Chuck
operations manager. Yeah.
And again, same thing, they were just blown away. So
good.
That's a good sign.
We're doing something right.
Yeah, without a doubt. So Sally, for you, getting into this event, Tour Down Under, you're obviously with SA Events. Just something that popped up, or did you really push for it? Or?
January will be my 15th event, 15th race. And I started 15 years ago as a placement student while I was at university. So I was studying tourism, specialising in event management. And I had my final placement coming up, and I wanted to go to the Barossa and work in a winery and do winery-based events. And basically had that teed up, ready to go. And then they asked me to come and interview for Tour Down Under. And I said, no way. I had no interest in it. I didn't. I wanted to work with wine and events there. And in the end, they convinced me to come to the interview. And I interviewed with Leslie O'Grady, who was the event coordinator at the time. And we clicked, and the role that she had, sounded interesting to me. So I said, sure, okay, I'll give it a go. I'll come along. And I knew nothing about cycling. Had never. Apart from watching it on the Olympics. And that was track cycling. I don't think I'd ever watched a minute of road cycling ever. And so worked on it, not really knowing what I was working on at the time. And then the first night, which was the opening criterium down at Glenelg that year in 2002, and it went past and I went, what is this? This is amazing. The speed and the atmosphere and the energy from the crowd. And my role was doing the presentations, so preparing backstage for the presentations and printing the jerseys and getting the trophies and ready and everything like that, making sure we had the riders. So it was a bit of you've got such a short amount of time to do that in, so it was a bit of an adrenaline rush there. And 15 years later, I'm now the event manager, and I haven't missed a race yet. So
and still a certain element of wine involvement, wine tasting in the
thankfully
in the well, with the Barossa
necessary
and McLaren Vale.
Yes, and we've got Wolf Blass as one of our is our wine sponsor, which is fantastic to enjoy at the end of each day.
I'll agree on that one.
We've often had a drink together in the evenings in the dining room.
Well, you've got to relax and unwind.
Got to be sociable.
So the energy and the excitement, all that obviously that hooked you. That was that's what got you.
It was, and it's different. Working with elite athletes and the public and the government. We're owned by the South Australian government, so all the complexities of making that work, and we're delivering an event. The Santos Tour Down Under was started as a tourism event, so we sit within the South Australian Tourism Commission. So its purpose is to draw spectators, visitors into South Australia, and to promote South Australia as a destination, which we do through the broadcast and through the journalists that come, to bring it up on people's awareness. So that was important from the get-go, and the complexities of working with that while still delivering a elite world-class event and making sure we're delivering what the riders and the teams need as well. So it's interesting.
Oh, I'm sure, and now our old mate Leon Bignell.
Yes, our minister.
Minister.
Been a great supporter of the event from day one when he was a journalist. So we're very lucky to have him on.
Have him. He's Yeah, he's a great fella as well.
Yeah.
But he, I know just my involvement with him. He loves the event and anything for cycling and that he's been a great supporter.
And the whole of South Australian government has really embraced and supported the event. So we're very thankful for that, and as well as South Australian public has as well. So the event wouldn't be a success if it wasn't embraced by the communities that we go to. So.
Not a chance. Not a chance. So the event you're hooked on that. Cycling yourself, any cycling yourself, any interest there?
I don't even own a bike.
No, that's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Everyone finds it highly amusing. So I loved riding a bike when I was a child, and that's when it stopped. I haven't even ridden a brake with handbrakes. Back pedal braking was my last bike.
It? Foot on the ground, that was it?
Yeah. In Amsterdam on a Kentucky tour, I rode a bike many, many years ago, and that was about the last time. But it's fun. I love the event and I love everything about it, but I'm not feeling like I'd rather be out there riding with them or, looking at the bikes going, wow, that's amazing. If only I could afford that one day. So, excuse me, I can come at it from an impartial point of view in that way.
And hey, I think that's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Yeah, you're, as you said, you didn't really know much about cycling. That's actually not a bad thing at all.
And if I'm, wheeling one of the team bikes along, I really don't have a concept of how much it costs, so I'm not freaking out as I do it or drop it or which I wouldn't do. I've never dropped a bike.
No.
All safe.
Mechanics out there were under control.
Very, very careful.
I think it's, I can't say enough about the event and everything I've been a part of, and it's just, I suppose a lot of the guys, my old teammates on the track, they're, the crossover, endurance track on the road is. It's good to see those guys competing. They keep coming back.
It's good. I mean, Jack Bobridge was, one of our, star performers in the 2015 TDU. Won a couple of stages, was wearing the Oka jersey for a little while, and had a great year. So there is Rowan Dennis. Won the event and then went on to successfully get the 1 hour record. So. There's some great parallels across the two.
And that's and the local, two local boys.
Yeah.
And then I suppose you've had Pat Yonkers, you've had Stewie O'Grady, locals as well. It's good to have those guys that are
performing here and performing on the world stage. I think sometimes it's taken for granted a bit that the Australian riders will be here at the event, and I think sometimes, a European race would be so excited to have Simon Gerrans on their start line and Cadell Evans on their start line, Rowan Dennis, Jack Bobridge, all these guys, and I think it's taken for granted that they're Australians, so they're going to be here.
Of course,
it's a star field having them in it, and we're very lucky.
And then the UniSA team, Dave Sanders leads.
Does a great job.
Oh, brilliant!
And when we became a Pro Tour event, there was no. At that time, it was just the pro teams that competed in the race. So, we went to the UCI and said, we don't want to lose. What local involvement can we still have? And that's where the rule came in to allow the national team to compete in a World Tour event. So,
and has worked well because, every day they're going to be on the attack. They're going to be
and you look at those over the years, who's ridden for the national team in the Tour Down Under, and how their career, it's a bit of a
it's a launching pad
audition process for some of them, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I know that's one of Dave's. That's his purpose now.
We know that they're going to attack every day. We know out from the offset, the UniSA boys are going to be attacking.
Well, for me, driving the guest car, it's got, the UniSA team will be on the attack. How did you know that? It happens every year.
It's a good bet to have.
It's a sure bet.
It is. And I mean, now we're looking more towards the growth as well, and this year we had the Santos Women's Tour as part of the event, so that was an NRS event for the first time, a four-stage race which was really well received, and we're excited to see what more we can do with that and continue to grow that, because being able to race in front of, say, the classic crowd on that first Sunday, is a great opportunity for the women, and how can we grow that more and do more there?
We chatted with Amber Halliday recently, and she, before she had her accident, she was the push to get women's cycling up there.
Yeah.
And now it's the depth and the strength and the quality of what we see, in the NRS series. And
and it was great for us to have, Wiggle also race at the event, as well as the Orica AIS girls come out as well and support it, and great for, the NRS teams to be able to compete against them as well on this stage. So
it's great to see. I think we're only, I think the women's cycling is only getting better, and the backing and the team support.
Yeah, I think
exciting.
it's important for all the races, and we're definitely looking at what more we can do in those elements as well.
Mike was he was right behind all the women's races happening there.
Yes, he was.
Very
He
good.
gives us. Yes, he definitely is. He gives a lot of advice, and he looks at both what is best for the women's race and how it's going to complement the men's race as well. So we will never be in a position where we can run a women's and men's event on the same day. We just don't have the logistics available in South Australia to be able to do that. So it's how can we give them the best value and exposure while still delivering both events.
Yes, yeah. Well, Mike, his early days of running events or races, I should say. We used to have 6 big races here, the Superdrome, Adelaide Superdrome, and that, I'm sure that was the beginning, of Mike's progression into the big scene. We'd love to have him back, putting some races on here.
He looks at it occasionally. He sometimes considers it, and then it doesn't quite get up.
I suppose enough on his plate. But, but I have great memories of racing here. As I said, 6 big race meets, but this was capacity. It was full.
Yeah, it's I never was able to attended one of those, but I've heard all the stories about it, and it sounds like it was fantastic.
I reminisce with Stewie O'Grady about it, and Brett Aitken also. So they had great early memories of the events here.
No, he's still very passionate about track cycling, and we'd love to see more of it.
Well, he's Olympic gold medalist. On the track.
Yeah.
Not
we
too
forget
bad.
that sometimes. I've worked with him for 15 years, so we can have some fun together.
Oh, I can imagine. And then Taff, your general manager.
Yep. Yeah, she's great. She's been
great
there
operator.
for about 7 years now, and she really has pushed us each year to see what we can do better. And she's really developed some strong relationships throughout cycling worldwide, and her mandate is what can we do better each year. So that's what we're looking for. We don't ever sit there and go, that was great, well done, event wrapped, let's move on.
But that's it. The bar keeps being pushed up.
Yeah, and the bags under my eyes get bigger.
Yeah, but as you said, you're running on adrenaline, and it is such a successful event.
But it's fun. That's it. A lot of us have been on the event for a very long time, from staff-wise. There's people that've been there, 5 to 7 years as well, sort of thing. So we wouldn't keep doing it if it wasn't fun. And it's the elements that we find fun each year. There's the race and there's the festival, but it's those other things. It's the conversations in the dining room at night where everyone's sitting around telling their war stories. I've got nothing to add to it, but I just love sitting there and hearing it all, and hearing you and Malcolm Morris and Mike Turter and Bobo, his driver.
Bobo,
He's a character in himself. Ray Godkin, Mike Victor when they're in, and then people from the teams coming over and sitting with us and having a chat. So they're the fun moments, and you laugh the most.
Yeah, and then last the tour just gone, we had Alan Davis.
Yes.
Guest driving as well. So
it was great to have him in and reminisce.
Yeah. Well, we all do it. I love it.
Yeah.
Especially a few wines as well. Your stories get bigger and better.
They do. Some of them I think I can say verbatim year on year, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah.
That's changed.
It's grown a bit since last time.
I'm sure you're hit with things left, right, and centre of all different requests and whatever. Any unusual requests that you can tell us about, or?
It's not too bad. I know people expect it to be, ludicrous, like bands and their riders sort of thing, but it's pretty sedate. The teams we're at the point now where the teams know what they're getting and they know what to expect here. And, you know, we work very closely with the Hilton as our host hotel on things such as menus, and so no teams are bringing chefs with them, or, you know, the Hilton will go and ask them about, you know, if everything's okay, have they got feedback for them on the menus, etc. And we make adjustments as we go throughout, you know, the 3 weeks that, you know, people are here. It hasn't really been anything ludicrous, I have to say, not that I'm willing to say.
No, that's good. Well, just, you know, my experience in the dining hall, it's the spread of food there is pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
It's probably the best I eat each year, so
yeah.
I can't.
I just come in and wolf down a plate and run out again.
Well, you've got to. You're on the go. You've got to. But no, I thought there might have been some crazy requests from some of the
nothing that I'm
Italian or French or.
They're all wonderful, and we love having all of them
very
here.
Good. Very good. No, it's pretty simple, pretty easy.
It is, and you've got a formula that works. So it's you know, there are some things sometimes they seem ludicrous at the time, and we just sit there and laugh, and you know, we always try and accommodate what we can if it's not too ludicrous. Just
we look at the last couple of years, and you know, there's the risk or the chance of fire. You know, actually stopping the race. You know, that must be a stressful thing itself.
It is.
You're working with so many
risk
things.
management is one of the things we focus on the most for the event, and we work very closely with all the emergency services groups, and we have fantastic support from all of those groups in South Australia in making the event a success. And you know, we have cancellation policies in place around fire warnings, etc. If it's going to be a catastrophic fire day, the race will be cancelled for that day. The challenge tour will be cancelled for that day. There is also heat policies around the Bupa Challenge Tour. There isn't a heat policy for professional cycling, so that's more of a day-to-day element. But things such as we have huge fires through the Adelaide Hills in January this year in the lead up to the event, and it's not something you can plan for because you can't have a spare race route up your sleeve because you don't know where the issue is going to happen. So you could plan to have a spare race route in the Fleurieu Peninsula, McLaren Vale area, but you don't know if that's the area that's going to be affected.
Exactly.
And then to implement the road closures, the podium, the arch, etc., is huge. So this year with the fires, we worked very closely with the emergency services. The fires were immediately followed by huge rains, so we had a lot of falling trees through the race route areas. And all the crews worked tirelessly to make sure that the event went ahead when it did.
Yeah, the road cleanup was, just that the morning of.
Yeah, they were doing some in the lead up, and then some trees dropped again, and so they were, they worked tirelessly for us, and we can't thank them enough because we were allowed to have a safe passage through that area. The fires were far enough out that we devised in that time an alternate race route if we wouldn't be able to use it. And we waited on the call from emergency services on that to see if it would be safe for us to use what was already in place. And that stage, one was a bit of the stage one down into Campbelltown, but the main one was stage two with the finish into Paracombe, which is where Rowan Dennis up that final hill climb launched his sort of surprise attack and got everyone, and it was fantastic.
Set the road alight.
Yes,
almost,
he did. The roar from the crowd that day. That and Wollonga Hill, I think that's where you can see the growth of the race the most, is looking at photos of Wollonga Hill over the years.
Well,
the crowd.
Well, that's it now. Yeah, with the hilltop finish, so I think that's got to be the best move.
It's been huge for us, and you would have seen over the years, the amount of people. It was always a popular climb, but now it's just packed up there. And I love seeing the footage where all you see is people, and then this, helmet weaving its way,
Oh, there's a
up the hill. You go, it's in there, or the photos that we get from it is fantastic. That's chills for me.
I remember the first year they had the hilltop finish, and I was behind a break. I think Cadell was in the break, with the guests, and we thought we had enough time at the bottom. There was, 3 minutes or more. So I was still in the break, following it nicely, and halfway up, as it's starting to get narrow, and the commissaires out of the roof waved us on. I can't.
Where am I going?
I can't get. There's spectators, there's team cars, there's riders, and I had to pull the mirrors in.
Oof.
I think I might have run over a couple of toes. And my palms were that sweaty.
Yeah.
But there you go, just the experience.
You still came back the next year.
Well, the guests, the VIPs, they loved it.
Oh, it would have been, yeah. On the horn, Shane, you know that. Always on the horn.
I was. But yeah, just that experience, just amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the crowd is so thick at the top. Just,
yeah.
Hundreds, thousands.
Yeah,
incredible.
and it's good. The roar that you hear, because we've got the big screen up the top as well, so the crowd at the very top of the hill can see the attacks happening as they're coming up.
Yeah.
And
I
really don't think they care who's winning, to be honest. It's just the spectacle of what is actually happening on that stage and that day is fantastic. It's one of my favourite days every year.
Easily.
Yeah.
So this year, Norton Summit is coming into play?
Yes, in for the first time. So we haven't.
Famous Norton Summit.
It is, and we have not used that before. No. So it's, I think on Strava, it's the most ridden climb in South Australia. I think it's the most popular. There's over 100,000 attempts of it. So really excited. It's in the Bupa Challenge Tour stage as well. So for the 6,000 people having a go on that day, they'll get strung out a bit heading up Norton Summit, but it's really exciting to have that in, and we might be working on something else a bit special for Norton Summit as well.
Okay. We'll
watch this space. We're really excited about something we're working on at the moment for it, and I think it'll be of interest to people.
I look forward to hearing.
Mike's back on the bike, so he's back out and about riding, and he's now ridden Norton Summit a few times.
Good. I'm going to say in his race days, in his heyday, he would have done it a few times.
He has done it a few times. I think he actually went up recently with Charlie Walsh as well. They got on the bike in the last month.
Cracked the whip, and
he did.
Well, Charlie actually was doing the efforts with us as well.
Yeah, and Mike said you weren't allowed out of the seat. You had to stay in the seat the whole time.
Seated strength endurance effort, 10K. We used to do 3 to 4 reps at a time.
I get tired just doing it in the car.
Yeah, and we'd do that 3 times a week.
Yeah.
So 12 reps a week we'd do. So, but that's what I mean. It's such a famous, legendary climb, and it's great that this year it's. Next year it's in finally. And I mean, the part of the Paracombe circuit we used this year, it was part of the old state or national championship circuit. Yeah. So Mike was able to incorporate a bit of that, which was great to see as well. Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, the countryside, where the race routes go. I have some great memories of the thousands of Ks I did training through
imagine.
There. So it's nice to be actually behind the
doing
wheel.
It in a car for a change.
Air-conditioned comfort.
Yeah.
Sally, the jerseys, all the different, the Oka jersey, the most aggressive young rider, etc. Getting them all in order and knowing who's sizes, who's wearing what, that's got to be
It is, and it all happens in a really short space of time. So by the time the presentations are finished and the riders have done their interviews, they're leaving with their jersey to wear for the next day. So we do it all in that time. So behind the presentation podium, we have a marquee set up that has a hot press in it. Yep. And we have all the hot press transfers with the team logos on it. So they give those to us in the lead up to the event, and we have them printed here, suitable for the press we're using. Santini provides our jerseys, so we get a breakdown of all the sizes. And we do a jersey that we present on stage, and then a race jersey for them as well. So as the race finishes, it's all radio communications cease, and we're moving on to waiting for the results to come through from the commissaire's caravan. And it's a tense few moments as we start getting those through. So we have someone in the back there coordinating the actual presentation and the jerseys, so they're recording who it is, forwarding it onto our team, who then press the jerseys. And then I've got Eric, he's in the team compound, and he's there to get the riders, let the teams know, and get the riders and make sure that they're coming over for the presentations. And when he's talking to the teams, he's getting the sizes from them. What we present in a presentation jersey can be a little bit big, that doesn't matter.
But for the actual
But we're
race.
making sure that we're getting it for the race time. Yeah. And so you've got to make sure that the press is hot enough, because if you do it once, you take it off and it's a bit wishy-washy, that jersey's done. That's in the bin, because you can never get it to line up again. So my first year doing it, as I was saying, in 2002, in Glenelg, I didn't have the press hot enough, and we presented, instead of it wasn't coloured, it was just black words, and they were more brown than
really?
black. And Mike came backstage and he went, not tomorrow. And I went, oh, okay.
It won't happen again.
It is still in the highlights video. Robbie McEwen wearing an SA Lottery sprint jersey with Lotto Adecco in this scarred me, in very faint printing going across the line. And every time I go, oh, that was my mistake.
Yeah, hasn't let you forget.
Yeah, and so then the teams might come back. They might have had a different transfer and we might have to reprint the jerseys, or they might change the size of the rider the jersey once they see it, and we'll reprint. Yeah. And usually by the time that they leave the presentation area, they've got the jerseys. Where it can get a bit confusing is if a rider wins 3 jerseys on stage, who's wearing, so if they've won the ochre, the sprint and the young rider jersey, who's actually wearing what jersey in the race the next day. So that sometimes holds us up a little bit, but it's all very quick and very fast.
Hot off the press.
Literally.
Bang.
You'll see the volunteers sometimes backstage waiting. The presentations will have started and they're there fanning the jerseys about to go onto a rider on stage because it has literally just come off the press.
Well, that's it. From the front of the podium, you don't see what's going on. So
it's quite calm. It's not. It sometimes gets a bit panicked, but touch wood, I don't know that we've presented a wrong person yet. No. So,
and then I suppose keeping the presentation, ladies, girls in order, and keeping things
and getting
running there
for us. Yeah, so they're an important element to the event as well, because they're actual ambassadors for the event. So they spend a lot of time out in amongst the crowd handing out the information, etc. as well. And then you can see them actually, they're mini stage managers on stage for us, because they're actually pushing and directing the riders and the sponsors into position so that the best things happening for the presentation, best shots are coming for the media and what's happening around. So they're great for us. Liza Emanuel dresses them, and she creates something new for them every year, and it's spectacular every year what she comes up with.
She does. I might have been 2 years ago at the dinner, the Legends dinner. I was sitting with her.
Yeah,
lovely.
She's lovely and such a huge supporter of us, and we're so lucky to have her on board.
But that's it. All those the supporters and sponsors, etc.
Most of our sponsors are really long-term sponsors. They've been with us, some of them from the beginning, and they believe in the race and the benefits that the race can offer them. So we're thankful. We can't do the event without the sponsors. No. It's there's so many that we can't do without. Emergency services, volunteers. There's 400 volunteers that work on the event. It's huge, and we need all these people to pull it together.
How many, like off the top of your head, well, you might know, but how many people, like staff, support staff that
there's
are involved in the
about 25 staff on the event, and then we increase the South Australian Tourism Commission staff offer us some assistance as well. So they'll come out on, say, the Bupa Challenge Tour and help with the starts in those areas. Then there's about another 200 contractors that work on the event, all the personnel through all the contractors, about 400 volunteers. So it's a huge
vehicles involved in the convoy.
There's about 120 vehicles with the race as well, and that doesn't include contractor trucks and all those sorts of build things on it as well. But we provide the teams with a team car and a team van each, so there's a lot happening there as well.
Lot to keep track of, that's for sure.
It is.
No, I think fantastic. As I said, from the start, it's for me, it's an honour to be involved with the event, but just to see it grow every year, just steps up a notch, and to hear behind the scenes and what's involved in your day to day, not just during the tour, but 18 months or
in advance,
almost in advance
that it begins, and what can we do? And I mean, 2018 will be our 20th event, so
big one.
That'll be big. It's the 18th coming up in 2016, so time flies.
I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be
Sally?
good. Well, I'm locking you in up until at least the 20th, so put that in the calendar.
No, thanks for your behind the scenes open sort of knowledge of what goes on and what takes place, and yeah, we look forward to following the event and continuing
And supporting.
supporting. Yeah.
Great.
So
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks, Summer. Thank you.
Shane.